All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
Hello, welcome to this weekend's NASCAR Quick Hit here for Ship It Nation. I am Eric, also known as TheGame on Discord. Almost forgot that little bit there. And tonight we will be discussing the granddaddy of them all, the Daytona 500. But of course, before we discuss the world's greatest race, all right, some people may say that's the Indy 500, but I'm going to say it's the Daytona 500. Before we start discussing that race, let me, of course, mention us. You already know. ShipItNation.com, your one-stop shop for all things DFS. Everything you need to have success and fun with DFS for less. Of course, you already know we are partnered with the world famous #1 optimizer in the game, SaberSim. Can't beat it, it's the best. NFL season just wrapped up. That's why I'm here. College football also just wrapped up. NBA this week is on All-Star break, I think. PGA is in full swing. Baseball is right around the corner. It's always beating people up season in MMA. NASCAR is here now, and hockey is on a little tiny break until the Olympics. So, if you want to join in on all the fun at ShipItNation.com, of course, visit ShipItNation.com, click on Join to join the nation, and this year, for the very first time, I get to advertise daily plans and 5-day plans. Do you want to try out Ship It Nation for just a day? Sunday? Do you want to try it out for just a Daytona 500? Give us a shot on the daily plan. $9 gets you access for the day without Discord access. Mind you, without Discord access. Or you want to try it for a week, 5 days? Do you want to wait till everything fires back up, till hockey and basketball are in full swing, plus NASCAR? Jump on the 5-day plan for only $19. That gets you everything, including the Discord community. All right, so ShipItNation.com, join the nation. Trial plans starting for daily at $9 and 5 days for $19. All access plans starting $79 for the all access plus the optimizer. We have the core kit, the starter kit, the ultimate kit with everything that breaks down from each. Folks, if you haven't joined the nation yet, you owe it to yourself to do so. ShipItNation.com, your one-stop shop for all things fun DFS. All right, let's go ahead here and fire up the first preliminary stone of the year. As you will see here, there are projections and ownership on this stone. These are just my initial runs of projections and ownership. They will be updated Sunday morning before the race. So let me get my notes here so I don't forget to say anything here. Unlike most sports, the biggest event of the year kicks off the NASCAR season with the Daytona 500. And if you're new to NASCAR, this is what's known as a super speedway race, where instead of our focus being on drivers who will potentially lead the most laps and or gain dominator points via fast laps, instead we focus on purely place differential plays, and a phrase you will often hear this weekend is stack the back. What does stack the back mean? Simple. Instead of focusing on drivers who start in the upper half of the field, we focus on drivers starting in the back half of the field. And you can get a pretty good sense of where the majority of players will be starting their player pool by taking a look at our initial projected ownership. And the first driver that really jumps off the page is 19th place Ryan Preece. He has 12% ownership compared to everybody above him's 4, 2, 1, 3, 2, 5, etc. Right? So right around 19th place is where people are starting to think about beginning their player pool. Then you have Alex Bowman in 21st place at 15% projected ownership right now. Denny Hamlin at projected 29% ownership. Bubba Wallace projected 26. Connor Zilic, Das Wonder Kid projected at 33. You have Austin Cindric at 54. Chastain at 39, Byron at 59, etc. You have some big projected ownership numbers here on the back half of the field because this is a very high attrition race. Anything can and often does happen at the Daytona 500. Okay. So, gotta be ready. Stack the Back will be very, very, very popular this weekend. I will say, though, if you are playing in 150 max GPPs, I would consider playing only one driver starting from 11th through like 18th, Todd Gilliland. That will get you a little bit different and potentially get you some lead lap points, even though we're not really focusing on those. We have seen this race in the early stages kind of, I don't want to say be boring, but kind of just settle in where there is a driver who seems to lead a bulk of the beginning half. But then by the time stage 3 rolls around, it's chaos and it's all, all hell in a handbasket. So if you're playing 150 GPP tournaments, I would consider it, but even then I'd be very hard pressed to play one of those players. Also, this is one of the very few weekends where salary is quite literally of no concern. The winning optimal lineup has just as much of a chance of being 39,500 as it does being as it does being 50,000. Folks, this is the first one I'm doing of the season. You gotta cut me some slack. Embrace the potential chaos of the Daytona 500 and don't be afraid to bump up your number of unique drivers per lineup to add randomness to your build settings or to go underweight on a highly owned driver or go overweight on a low owned driver, or on the flip side to go really overweight on a highly owned driver. Anything can happen in the Daytona 500 and often does happen in the Daytona 500, and your DraftKings lineups need to be prepared and ready for it. Embrace the chaos, embrace the volatility, embrace the randomness of the Daytona 500. This is one, we have what, 37, 38, 36, drawing a blank, races here to for this entire season. There's only 4, the 2 Daytonas, the 2 Talladegas, and then Atlanta you kind of can consider this type of race, not so much anymore as it used to be years back. So there's only a couple times a year you get to really embrace the lottery type aspect that is the Daytona 500 slate. So that's what I mean. Just prepare for the chaos, stack the back, go random, and hope your 6 lotto drivers make it to the end. All right, let's go ahead and do a very quick breakdown of the starting lineup. Let's see here. I'm at 9 minutes so far. So let's, I'm really making a concerted effort this year of making these quick hits actually be quick. Some folks last year in the comments definitely had no issue letting me know I am long-winded, hence this message right now. So I'm going to try to be a little bit quicker this season. Starting on the front row, we have Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe. I'm pretty sure Kyle got the pole, so I wouldn't play him at 100% this year. I am a Kyle Busch fan. However, he will not be in my player pool this weekend. However, I will probably bet Kyle Busch. He has a new crew chief in Jim Pullman. I believe that's how you pronounce the man's last name. And he was the crew chief for Justin Allgaier in the Xfinity series for the past couple years. And Allgaier was fantastic. And they come out of the gate swinging with the pole at the Daytona 500. Now, does that mean he's going to have a fantastic rest of the season? Absolutely not. But he is yet to win a 500. There's no better time than now, right? Chase Briscoe, again, he's an excellent race car driver, will not be in my player pool. Same goes for Joey Logano, Chase Elliott. Absolutely, they are two drivers worth a outright to win bet. Either one of those drivers could win. Not in my DFS plans. Ryan Blaney and Hocevar. Hocevar at plus 2,800. Love it. He is a menace right now in the truck race at Talladega. So him at 2,800 as of the time of this recording, I think is good value. But again, this isn't a betting podcast. This is a DFS show. So Blaney and Hocevar, not on my radar. Dillon and Larson, same thing. Larson's probably never on my radar at super speedway tracks, and at plus 1,800 kind of blows me away. Austin Dillon at plus 5,000. Yeah, that's worth a shekel or two for sure. Brad K and Michael McDowell. Brad K coming back from a broken leg does not seem to have slowed him down at all. Michael McDowell in Inspire Motorsports absolutely could win this race on Sunday. Pair of Toyotas up next in John Hunter Nemechek and Christopher Bell. One thing to note, Legacy Motor Club does now have a technical relationship with Joe Gibbs Racing. So I would expect to see Legacy Motor Club really increase in performance this year, like really take some steps up. So John Hunter, not on my DFS plans. At 6,500 though on the books, he might be worth a sprinkle. Same for C-Bell. C-Bell is an any given Sunday type play for me. Not in DFS, but sportsbook. SVG and Josh Berry. SVG is a no. He's extremely talented. I would be stunned. Like, I shouldn't say stunned. Could he have a good day on Sunday? Absolutely. Will I be playing him? No. Will I be betting him? No. Josh Berry, I'm glad he's not in the back. He's a very safe play. He could very well win this race, but I don't expect him to dominate or anything of the imagination. Here we have some heavy DFS hitters that I wish were starting deeper in the field. Daniel Suarez and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Daniel Suarez has become I don't want to say quite the racer, but since he joined Spire, it seems like he has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And he was a little firecracker at the Busch Clash at Bowman Gray, and he's won super speedway races before. Starting 15th, however, not for me. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., former Daytona 500 winner, can absolutely win this race, but he's not in my DFS plans for Sunday. Casey Mears. Yeah, that's a no for me, dog. He's probably the slowest car on the track. He got into the race due to a wreck on the last lap of qualifying duel number 1. Corey LaJoy was caught up in that wreck. I'm a Corey LaJoy hater, so that did not bother me. However, Casey Mears speed raced through that wreck, got through it, and made the big show. However, I kind of think that's where the Cinderella story is going to end. He's slow. The car's slow. Could he have a good day based on attrition? Absolutely. Will I be playing him at DFS? No. Ryan Preece, if he was starting 21st, yeah. At 19th, probably not for me. He's a good little racer too. You don't really think of him at super speedways. You think of him flying through the air at Daytona a couple years back. I think that was during the Pepsi 400. I think that's what it was called then. Yeah, not really for me, But this is where you start really starting to think about what drivers you want to include in your DFS pool. Ty Gibbs at 20 at only 8% ownership. He's worth a shot. He came out and stated that he had a broken heel of his foot for like the better half of the season last year. So, not saying he's going to set the world on fire, but hell, you got to be better with your foot not being broken, right? So, I'll take a chance on Gibby. Bowman the Showman. Hey, he's not my favorite Hendrick Motorsports driver by any stretch of the imagination, but at 8,500 at 15.4% projected initial ownership, yup, I'll take a chance. Denny Hamlin, amazing super speedway racer, is in a great spot to gain you place differential points. Has had a hell of an offseason. If you are not familiar with the ongoings of Denny Hamlin is the co-owner alongside of Michael Jordan of the 2311 racing team. They were in an antitrust lawsuit against NASCAR earlier, rather in the off season, that NASCAR ended up settling with Denny in 2311. That's the positive. I mean, anyway, I guess I shouldn't consider a lawsuit a positive, but you know what I mean? That's the positive. Compared to what I'm about to say, his parents were unfortunately had a fire at their property, and his mother got injured, and unfortunately he lost his father in the fire. So not only was he in an antitrust lawsuit alongside of Michael Jordan for the better part of last NASCAR season, when it finally wrapped up and there was light at the end of the tunnel, he went through the most ultimate tragedy of his fire at his parents' property and ultimately losing his father. Denny Hamlin is an amazing super speedway driver. That's a lot to overcome in an off season. We'll see if he can do it. There have been some changes. Joe Gibbs Racing at well. Chris Gabehart is no longer with the organization, I believe. So these are just things to consider. Should you have him in your player pool? Absolutely. Should you not play him because of those things? I will leave that up to you. That's just a lot for any one person to handle in the very short off season that NASCAR has. And then to get in the car and race, that's just heavy stuff, man. Cole Custer in the Haas factory team, they have switched to Chevrolet this season. They were Ford last year. They are Chevy now this season. I have no issues taking a chance on Cole. 6%, I wouldn't go crazy with him, but yeah, if you can take your Denny Hamlin shares and take some of those and put them to Cole Custer, and you have a little bit better place differential with those Cole Custer lineups, right? So no issues taking a chance on Cole Custer. Eric Jones, love Eric Jones. Eric Jones is a great super speedway racer. And as I mentioned before, Legacy Motor Club does now have that technical affiliation with Joe Gibbs Racing. Those cars should be better. I have no problem taking a chance on Eric Jones, and I'll probably be I'll have more than 12% Eric Jones. I can say that for sure. Noah Gregson, he got disqualified from his qualifying time because he put his hand in the window to increase his aero, which was the number one rule not to do. So yeah, he was busted very quickly for that. But then he had a pretty decent dual race. No issues taking a chance on him if you want to. Next up, we have the 4 2311 cars, Reddick, Wallace, Herbst, and Heim. Herbst is the least owned out of the four of them. But again, you could take your Reddick shares and Wallace shares and split them off into Herbst shares and be overweight on Herbst just to be different, right? Like there's Herbst are two better place differential points than Reddick and Wallace, and they're in the same equipment. If Reddick and Wallace get caught up in a wreck that Herbst don't, you're in the catbird seat, baby. Next up, Zane Smith, the 30th. Just to make sure that I'm still in the window here. I am. In fact, I can probably scroll down. There we go. Zane Smith, the 30th. If I have no problem with Noah in 25th, I have no problem with Zane at 30th. Zane had some bad luck last season, but it seemed like towards the end he was kind of turning it around, and you could kind of see that with the D- recent form. In the recent form section this for this week, I just used the last 10 races of last season, so D- isn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but there's tons of F's on here, and D- is better than an F, right? So no problem taking a chance on Zane. Jimmy Johnson, he would normally be on my no list because it seems like he always gets into an incident with these next gen cars. However, Legacy Motor Club now has a technical affiliation with Joe Gibbs Racing, and it is 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson. Yes, he does not have Chad Knaus with him at Legacy Motor Club. I don't care. There has to be some talent there somewhere. He's driven these cars enough to know what's what. I will take a shot with Jimmy Johnson at 13% ownership at 31st place. And with a Joe Gibbs Racing affiliation, yeah, for sure. Connor Zilic, Das Wonder Kid. I think I'm the only one calling him that, and that's okay. Look, he tore it up in Xfinity last season. Him and SVG will be a terror on the road courses this season, and he might win the Daytona 500. But 33%, I don't know if I can get down with that. That might be a place to go overweight. Or if you're really into DOS Wonder Kid, go overweight. But 33%, I'm not a big fan of that number. Cody Ware, he's a fine road course racer. No issues there. I will take a shot at him at 14%. Ty Dillon and AJ Allmendinger, the teammates, absolutely. Now, one thing about Allmendinger, he did injure his hand in a crash during the duels. However, and he crashed and he injured his hand and he has a big bandage on his hand. However, he has come out and said that it's more for comfort and everything is okay. So if you're looking for a driver to fade and you're looking for a reason, maybe it's the Allmendinger injury to fade him. I'm not going to, but that does exist. Austin Cindric, he's my first cash play of the weekend. He is fantastic. Super Speedway racer. Team Penske is fantastic at super speedways. They will eventually all get together and run together. I'm sure he will be very heavily owned and for good reason. Ross Chastain, 37th. Not as owned as the others in the bunch, but I have no issues taking a shot on him. Is he aggressive? Yes. Is he smart enough to not intentionally wreck very early in the Daytona 500? I think yes. BJ McLeod, absolutely will take a shot on BJ. He is he's a fun racer to watch on super speedways. Will he be up there leading without some attrition? Probably not. Will he be able to stick around to the end, though, if there is? Absolutely. We've seen him pull off good finishes in these races before. We know he can do it. Plus, this is the car that Catherine Legg drove a couple times last year to some fairly okay runs. I mean, nothing crazy, but for what this I see, I have a typo there. Also, I've lived fast sports, not motorsports. For what this car is normally capable of, it was totally okay. So I have no issues taking a chance on BJ McLeod. William Byron, he will be heavily owned. Excellent super speedway racer, uh, Daytona 500 champion, 59%. Sure, sure. I mean, is he worth 59%? Yes. Will I play him at that? Probably not. That's probably a chance that I get different. Justin Allgaier in Junior Motorsports 40. No problem taking a chance on him. And then starting dead last, Christopher Buescher at 8,400 at 53%. Load me up with Buescher. He has only one place to go, and that's up. He can't lose the NEPD, can only gain you, and I love that. All right. Hey, my long-winded short video came in at, well, we'll be over 26 minutes. So we'll try to get shorter for the next one. Thank you once again for sticking with me and sticking with us for year 3 of NASCAR coverage here at Ship It Nation. I will be filling out the practice data tomorrow. There was a practice today. There's a practice tomorrow. I wanted to wait for the third and final practice session to fill this out, even though you don't really use practice for Daytona 500 building anyway. As well as I will have a final update to the projections on Sunday morning. I just want to make sure there's no accidents or anything Sunday during the final practice of the weekend. All right. Thank you once again for watching. Any questions, hit me up in Discord. And as always, let's ship it.